Excellent.
Yeah, I think
well,
so too.
Let's move on to the Reposado. Now, Reposado, Mike, was a bronze medal winner in the 2011 San Francisco World Spirits Competition. So that was just a few months ago.
Yes, in March, I believe, and that was their first foray into the competition, into any competitions.
This is what the bottle looks like. Same question mark. Spanish question mark, if you will.
A Spanish upside down question mark. This cork is a synthetic cork, for those of you who are keeping track on what kind of cork this is. And you'll see, when you pour it straight through, you'll see bubbles in the, as they're poured. Now this is, this particular, Reposado is kind of a light gold color. Not necessarily a straw color, but gold, kind of a light gold color. The bubbles dissipate a little bit quicker.
I'll take a white background.
There you go.
I can't, I don't know if you could tell too much there.
It's very light, as you can see. According to their POS material for their Reposado, of course, it's an ultra-premium Reposado aged 6 months in world-famous American oak whiskey barrels from Lynchburg, Tennessee. That's not surprising, considering that the brand importer is from Tennessee. So these are they can't necessarily tell you which barrels that they age them in, but Lynchburg, Tennessee will give you a real close indication as to where. And I love the color on this, Alex. Don't you? I mean, I think it's just a delicate, nice gold color.
You got the right word for it. It's a delicate color. It's got like a real light gold hue to it.
Very mellow on the smell, on the inhale. Very much influenced by the barrels that they're aging them in, I would say.
Yeah, get a little caramel in there. A little spice.
Little honey. Wow, this is really beautiful. And again, very nice tears, very nice string of pearls on your Riedel glass for this tequila. I know some of the lighting may not be accurate for you. This may look a little bit lighter than it does in person, but it is a very light Reposado.
It is. That could be maybe a shorter time than usual in the barrel. Maybe the charring of the barrel maybe been removed a little bit.
It is only a 6-month Reposado, so it's it's not in the barrel very long, just enough to smooth out the edges.
Very nice, very strong structure to this too.
You don't lose the agave flavor in this Reposado. There's no mistaking that this is tequila. It's not a whiskey. It's not a bourbon or anything else. This is definitely a whiskey, or excuse me, a tequila. Nice legs on this one too, Alex.
Yes.
Very nice legs. Not the legs on this are not very syrupy, but just enough to make it interesting.
This has got a really long finish.
And I think that comes from wouldn't you say this comes from the agave itself?
Well, the Blanco had a nice long finish to it too. So I like the fact that the wood hasn't hindered the agave coming through. and the length of the finish on this. I mean, usually with the wood influence, you kind of dampen down the agave.
Yeah, there's no mistaking, as I said, that this is a tequila. It is very. There's still an agave presence that I would say in your face, kind of an agave presence.
Oh yeah.
And yet the barrel, the nuances in the barrel. I think there's a little nutmeg. I wouldn't say cinnamon, but honey, nuts, maybe almonds a little bit.
There's some nuts in there. I can taste that.
There's no mistaking this is a tequila. This is definitely a gentleman's tequila. I know, Alex, you don't partake, but I'm a cigar smoker, and this would be an excellent reposado for a cigar.
For a cigar, huh?
or even dinner. Actually paired with a full meal, maybe an Italian dinner, steak, that kind of thing. I think it would really stand out. It really does. I think it would pair well with food itself.
Steak sounds good right now.
Yeah, or even pizza, like I was eating just a little while ago.
It's funny. Mike and I do these shows late at night, and we're pretty much night owls, right? Except this is your lunchtime.
I'm a vampire. This I don't go to bed till like 6 a.m. So. And we have really strange hours, but that's because we love what we do, and so it's not unusual that when we do these podcasts that one or the other of us is actually having a meal at the same time. But I would say that this reposado is structured well enough to pair very well with any kind of meal that you're having, whether it's Italian, whether it's fish, whether it's beef, wherever you're having this tequila, I think it would pair very, very well with any meal, not just traditionally Mexican food, of course. So, what do you say we try the añejo?
Sure. I have to try this in a margarita too.
I really think that I think the reposado is going to shine even better in a margarita or a cocktail. Than the Blanco. Isn't that a beautiful bottle, by the way?
It is a beautiful bottle.
Now, for those of you who don't know, in Spanish, when you ask a question, you write an email or a sentence, you have an upside down question mark.
Can I do that without?
Yeah.
Without
and there you go. You have the upside down question mark, and you have the right side up question mark. And it is a beautiful bottle, very unusual. And the nice thing about this tequila is that right now, it seems, along with the Blanco and the Reposado, we have some real substance where this tequila is concerned. It's not just a pretty bottle. It really does have some beautiful substance.
Now, I thought, Mike, with the shape of the bottle, that it would actually be awkward pouring it. Especially if, when I first opened up the Blanco, I made quite a few margaritas with it. And at first I figured, well, it might be a little awkward holding the bottle, because that's one of the things that bartenders also look at is functionality in the bottle that they're using. And it works great.
Yeah, there's a thing considered hand feel is what I call it.
There you go, hand feel.
We call mouth feel when it's in your palate. With bartenders and mixologists and even purists like myself and Alex, we look at the hand feel of a bottle. And this is a really easy bottle to handle. I would say that it's very easy on your back bar, or even your own bar at home. And it's very easy to handle. It's very elegant. I mean, the question mark itself is very elegant. The interesting thing is Jason Fandrich, who is the importer of Cuestion Tequila. I found him on Twitter, and those of you who follow me on Twitter and Facebook, you can do that at Intimate Tequila Tasting on Facebook, or Timber Elk on Twitter. And I found him on Twitter, And the funny thing is, he has a very interesting hashtag. If you're familiar with hashtags on Twitter, he'll hashtag everything he asks or what he puts out on Cuestion Tequila, Cuestion Spirits. That's at Cuestion Spirits on Twitter. He'll always ask a question with a hashtag and says, question everything. And Cuestion, of course, spelled in Spanish is Cuestion. So whenever he posts anything on Twitter, he'll say, question everything. And I think that's probably a good way to go about life, wouldn't you say, Alex? Question everything. Because nothing is ever like it seems. And especially when it comes to tequila. So I'm going to pour myself an añejo. And
bubbles again, like you said.
they're little bubbles. I love, bubbles to me are really a telltale sign. It's kind of like when you play poker with someone that they give you your tells. They tug on their ear. They scratch their eyebrow. With a tequila, it's very much the same thing. When you see bubbles, it's really a good telltale sign that it's made either the old-fashioned way or made in a way that will please your palate. Now, this is not much darker than the Reposado, right?
No, it's not. Just slightly darker. In fact, I put it against a white background to check on that. It's just slightly darker, which is interesting. Mm-hmm. And just touching on the bubbles real quick, I equate that to good distillation.
Yes.
So
exactly.
And you can tell with the mouthfeel, the structure, and those little things, the bubbles, the types of legs that you're getting to good distillation.
If your bubbles do not dissipate right away, it kind of gives it a soapy look. It's actually a good sign when it comes to tequila. And this tequila is full of bubbles. Tiny bubbles. Whether it's the Blanco Reposado or the Añejo, it is nice bubbles. Beautiful legs too, wouldn't you say, Alex? I mean, this Añejo, just about the same kind of legs as the Reposado.
And the Blanco.
Yeah, they don't linger a whole lot. Not that they cling to the glass so much that it looks oily, but it's just enough to make it interesting, I think. Really a beautiful spirit, very very beautifully made, and not much darker than the Reposado.
No, it's a very interesting real light, metallic golden color to it. It's hard to describe.
Almost like a copper color.
Copper, there you go. That's what I'm after.
Almost like a copper color.
There you go.
Now,
I'm looking at it off a black screen here, so it's hard to tell.
Okay, well, according to the POS material, the point of sale material, each batch requires nearly 12 years to produce. Well, of course, we know that the agave taking almost 12 years to grow. But it says here that the spirit is aged for 18 months in fire-cured American oak whiskey barrels, imported again from Lynchburg, Tennessee, which I think is very indicative of, like I say, the importer and where they come from. Lynchburg, Tennessee, those barrels from Lynchburg are heavily sought after, not just by Cuestion, but by other brands as well. And I think they did a beautiful job with this tequila. And again, it's not very dark. It's not being influenced so much by the barrel. Just enough to take the edge off of the Blanco so much, but there's no mistaking this is a tequila that you're drinking. Caramely, a little bit of honey, do you think?
Well, definitely some of the caramel in there. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, it doesn't. You don't have a whole lot of wood in this añejo. I don't get it in those at all.
No, being that it's a used barrel, it's from all indications it's a used whiskey barrel. There wouldn't be. and that's actually the beauty of this spirit, this particular tequila, is that it's just enough whiskey influence to make it interesting, but not enough to make it taste like something else.
Get a little clove in there. Get the
Yes.
vanilla in there.
Yes. It's much more spicy, I think, than the Ripple.
It is spicy in the nose. Oh, real supple on the palate, on the tongue, like velvet on my tongue.
It definitely is designed to coat your palate, but you don't. There's no mistaking that you are drinking and tasting a tequila. It does not taste completely like a whiskey or a bourbon or even a cognac, for that matter. It really it enhances what we start out with on the Blanco.
Now, the literature says that there's some hints of dark chocolate, which I can get a little bit of that in my palate.
Well, it says also citrus and clove, as you mentioned.
I did get the clove.
Mm-hmm.
And the citrus I get a little bit on the nose.
Now, they recommend that you taste this with or have it with mineral water. I can see where mineral water would change the flavor profile a little bit, but this tequila is really, it's an elegant tequila. I don't think that I would, as a purist, I don't think that I would drink it on the rocks. I would drink it at room temp, either in a snifter or a Riedel glass, like what you see here in front of you. Or as Alex says, in a cocktail, because I think the Reposado and the Blanco really lend itself beautifully to a cocktail.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't touch this. I would drink it just like this. Beautiful tequila.
Yes.
Anyhow.
Beautiful. Again, we're talking about Cuestion tequila, and you can tell the bottle by the upside down question mark. If you see it right now, it's available in Nashville and very few other states, but it is getting rave reviews, as well as from us here at Tequila Aficionado. And I think it's highly recommended. What do you think?
I highly recommend it. It's an excellent tequila. If you go to questiontequila.com, questiontequila.com, you could probably find where you can purchase it. And I'd say go out and try it.
I would too.
Tequila, I think they've done a great job.
I do too. I believe this is one of those tequila brands of promise that Tequila Aficionado is always looking for, and highly recommended. They did a beautiful job. It's not just a pretty bottle. There's some beautiful spirit inside the bottle as well. So if you find it anywhere, if you find it online, we're hoping to have them at the New Mexico International Intimate Tequila tasting as well. You'll be able to taste it firsthand. I can't say enough about it. They really, this is one of those tequilas that you need to have in your library. If you're a bottle collector, if you're a vintage tequila collector, this is really made in the old style of tequilas. And I think Alex and I both agree it's a wonderful tequila for your library, just like what Alex has behind him.
No, excellent. Yeah, you go out and get it. Go out and find it. You've been listening to Sipping Off the Cuff. I'm Alex Perez. You've also been listening to Mike Morales out in New Mexico. And go out and find it. Cuestion Tequila. And like always, we wish you well and sip wisely.